For the idea of the capturing of an asteroid, we came up with 16 ideas initially, allowing us to think about potential ideas to capture an asteroid. Lassos, nets, whales, harpoon guns, metal cages, lasers, the whole shebang. What we came up with is essentially a giant version of CERN, so using a series of electromagnets. All of the systems that we are proposing are all currently existent, and we're just increasing the scale on them. With this, what we would do is we would have a series of, say, 15 satellites, 4 or 5 around the moon, that are all essentially giant magnetic hoops with an inner diameter of 10 meters, an additional series out near the asteroid belt, so that what we could do is we could launch an asteroid through this loop so that we could get the necessary velocities up to get it back to Earth, firing it through a series. If we needed to do flybys, that would be optional, and then as we reached the moon, we could use the same magnet with the opposite polarity to decelerate the actual asteroid and get it back to near Earth so that we can then do our mining. So what we need to actually discuss is the actual development of how we're going to get it into this magnetic hoop to start off with.
Okay, so how we're going to move the asteroid from the belt into the first layer of hoop will be with this system up here. What we'll do is attach big metal plates that will be magnetized on the asteroid. These plates serve two purposes. One is for the initial push, and two, so we can move an asteroid that might not contain iron in it, but it would still have these plates on it, so it could still fire through a big magnetic hoop and shoot through. The initial push will occur with the satellite that orbits the asteroid. The satellite will occasionally do pushes, and it will orbit it, and whenever it's in the correct direction, it will do a push, so the asteroid will slowly start moving in our direction. We don't need much of a push, because we're only making it from the belt to our first hoop system. We just need to get it in a new direction. Now, how we're going to attach these big plates to the asteroid will be discussed by...
So one method we thought of was that the plates could be shot down by a railgun or a harpoon, and they would have sensors on the bottom, magnets on top, and they would inject into the asteroid and essentially split out like a harpoon, so it would stick in, and we could use it to orientate the sensors so they could push the asteroid through the system we have.
Alright, so the actual lassoing method of capturing or being able to grasp onto an asteroid or even other bodies would be something like an induced current lasso, where you would have a loop and its accompanying rope going through this. On this rope, you would have adjustable, and by adjustable I mean like interval hooks, that type of object, and on the opposite side, on this actual loop right here, you would be able to lock on to whatever distance or diameter rather you would want, so you go this is the asteroid, it would go through this hoop, and using an induced current, you'd be able to tighten and lock onto the asteroid, and therefore being able to afterwards you'd be able to turn this off and have some kind of mechanism going back and forth, and you'd also be attached onto the asteroid.
So, in summary, what we can state is that by doing this system, because this is essentially a self-contained unit and it can be essentially designed to be reusable, what we can have, is that as we launch this back through the magnetic system, we can transport it back to the moon, and we can actually use these electromagnets to be actually a interplanetary highway. So you could use it by changing the direction of the magnets. You could then fire the equipment, any of the material that you wanted to actually do the mining, etc., or the printing, out to the asteroids by this system, and then by putting everything into reverse, returning the asteroids back to Earth. So we would then have a potentially continuous system which could be charged by nuclear power or by solar panels, and just be running essentially dormant until only when it's needed, allowing us to have a large lifetime for this system to be in place. That could then be later used to get us to Jupiter, Mars, Pluto, not Mars obviously, Uranus or Pluto, etc. So that is our idea today.